With everybody clamoring over the new Threads app by Meta, they're failing to miss the bigger picture. Mark Zuckerberg, kind of a boring guy. Elon Musk, incredibly funny guy. So which platform do you want to be on? Twitter is where it's at, man. Now, I guess the issue for Twitter is that they don't have the younger users. Instagram and TikTok do. TikTok's doing way better than Twitter in a lot of different ways. And with a lot of younger people using Instagram, the launch of Threads puts more younger people into the conversation space than you may see on Twitter. There are a lot of younger people I know, Gen Z, we've had on Timcast IRL, who have mentioned, like, I don't use Twitter. I've never been on it. I only recently just signed up because I started doing this stuff. So the real opportunity for Instagram is creating a political space where it's easier for younger people to port their followers over. And that's the big challenge right now. But that's not what this story's about. This story is about why Twitter's more fun and why if you are a young person, you can have more fun on Twitter. I don't think that really matters, me saying it, because it has to be a young person using it and then telling their friends to use it, which is likely not going to happen because Instagram's where the followers at. But let me just tell you a couple stories so we can kick off the latest update on Threads. Elon Musk snipes, quote, "Zuck is a cuck." Okay. About Meta boss Zuckerberg after rival Twitter app launch. Yeah, Elon Musk did a little bit more than that. He did a little bit more than that. Okay. I just at Elon, I didn't think it was real. Okay. I did not think it was real. You have this tweet. Data Hazard says Elon protects free speech. Zuckerberg protects brand speech. And it shows this image where Wendy says, "Hey, Zuck, you should go to space just to really make him mad, LOL." And Zuckerberg posts a laughing emoji, and apparently Wendy's posts it twice, which is just kind of weird. And Zuckerberg responds twice. There are two different posts apparently on Threads. Elon Musk responds, "Zuck is a cuck." Well, okay. And then Elon Musk responds, "I propose a literal dick measuring contest." 11 hours ago. I'm sorry. Gen Z. If y'all want to go and hang out with Mark Zuckerberg, okay. I'd rather hang out with Elon Musk, you know, because it's really funny. Like, he wants to measure Zuckerberg's penis. I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't think he's being serious, but he did say literal. I wonder what the response from everybody is. Someone said, "You forgot to log into the Elon Musk AOC account to post this. You forgot to tweet from your parody account. Dude, you don't need to flex on Zuck like that." You know, here's what it ultimately comes down to. Right now, the news is that Threads is the fastest growing social media app in history. 100 million users in just 5 days. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. It is, because what does it really mean anyway? But look. You launched TikTok, and TikTok within 9 months got to 100 million users. I personally don't know if I believe all of that. We'll break it down. And there have been a few other apps that have done really, really well really quickly. But Threads is just a component of Instagram. So people use Instagram. I have I don't even know how many followers I have on Instagram. I've got a good amount of followers on Instagram. Let me pull it up. It's different from Twitter. What do I have? I've got, I don't even check this thing. 382,000 followers on Instagram. I should probably post more, I guess. So when you launch Threads, your followers poured over for the most part. It's not one for one. I have 382,000 followers on Instagram, but I think it translates so far only to like 13,000 on Threads after a week. Granted, I don't really post on Threads. I mean, if I started using it, I'd probably get more attention or whatever. The issue with Threads is that Instagram is not a political space for me, but maybe this is the goal. And I got to be honest, maybe it's a good thing. Who do I follow on Instagram? I follow some people I know. I follow some nature accounts. I think I follow some poker accounts like Upswing Poker, the Lodge Poker Club in Texas. I follow some scooter guys, some rollerbladers, some skateboarders, the Barracks. And Instagram is really just kind of hobby stuff, you know, fun, like what's going on in the world, kind of good fun. And when I go to the exploration tab in Instagram, I typically get videos of dudes on scooters doing flares, triple flares. Man, I'm forgetting that guy's name. It's mostly action sports, poker, and cheeseburgers. I can't help it, man. You show me someone making a smash burger on Instagram, I have to click it. I have to. And they've got these videos where it's like, you guys know smash burgers. They cut the smash burger and then dip it in that sauce, that Chipotle sauce. I can't help it. So that's like all I'm getting fed constantly is food. That's who I am. That's what I'm all about. It's not important to me. I am not passionate about it. Seeing a video of a cheeseburger, what was our plan? I was like, hey, we should make cheeseburgers on Monday. That's about it. Watching poker videos is just, it's fun to see how people play the game because I like the game. Watching action sports, you will be skating later today for, we do for exercise. And so these things are more ancillary to the greater elements of my life, which is news, politics, culture, etc., which is where Twitter comes in. My following on Instagram is fairly inane and inconsequential. I do follow like PragerU and a couple other personalities, but that's about it. So here's the challenge. If I'm going to use Threads in the way I normally use Threads to understand and engage with conversations that matter, I have to re-curate my feed. Go in, unfollow a bunch of Threads accounts. Because I synced it and I said auto-follow, fine, whatever. Probably shouldn't have. Because then I got to go to Twitter and I got to look at my curated list. And this is what matters. Twitter, how I operate, the things I see, the way I view the world, combination of factors. Reading the news all day, every day, and then because of that, actually becoming quite good at Scrabble. I read a lot of weird words all the time, and then I'm like, oh, here's a word. But also Twitter, where I've curated over time a list of personalities, lawyers, journalists, left, right, and center, disaffected liberals, libertarians, people I think that are bringing like a good mix of things. Like I follow a bunch of leftists because I want to see what they're saying to better understand it. That's what Twitter does. I understand why a young person wouldn't be on that. But I tell you this, that does not mean that Twitter is down and out. It could just mean that as Gen Z ages, they will eventually sign up for Twitter. This may be the reality. It may not be. But I give it to you this way. When you were a kid, did you watch the news? Most of you are probably going to say no. To be fair, I actually did. I did. Mostly because I'd wake up, my dad would be playing the news. But I was always on the internet, so I was always reading something. And I ended up being, I'm like 16. My friend told me this. We went to go skate. And I was like, did you hear about what happened with Bush and Cheney or like something like that? And they're like, what are you talking about? And but the punk rock being a big influence, a lot of people who are into punk understood a little bit about politics, granted young leftist types. But for most people, you're not watching the news. You're young. You don't care about the news. So I'll tell you a story. Having dinner with some family, some extended family of mine. And, they were talking about how their kids don't care about the news and you will never convince them to watch the news. It's just not going to happen. And I was like, well, of course, because the news is your world, not their world. Why would they want to watch it? But I'll tell you this. So I asked my second cousin, I guess, my cousin's kid. I was like, you don't care about the news? And she was like, no. She's like 14. She's like, no, it's like, well, I don't care about any of that stuff. And I was like, you will eventually. And then she was, said something like, I don't know about that. And I was like, but let me explain it to you. All right. Is there someone in your class you really don't like? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, it's like Snooty Girl or something. She's like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, now imagine that she becomes class president and sets the rules for you. And she went, oh, no. And I was like, that's what the news is. Okay, for right now, you're entering high school. The only thing you really care about is what the other kids are doing. Instagram. So right now, your world is your peer group. Makes sense. You get older, all of a sudden, that dude from high school or some dude from some other high school, now all of a sudden he's running some big company and you're like, that guy? No. And you want to know what they're doing. Donald Trump, everybody knew Donald Trump. So when he runs for president, the news becomes something they pay attention to and care about. But do kids? They don't know who Donald Trump is. If, millennials saw him in Home Alone, we saw him on The Apprentice, but Gen Z, they're like, I don't know, whatever. I'll give you another example. We had Vosh on the show. And I disagree with Vosh, but I respect him for coming on the show and giving his opinions. And the one thing I always say is you're allowed to have opinions. You know what I mean? So, we love having people like Destiny on the show. Had a lot of fun playing poker. He's a good dude. And we disagree on some things. We agree on a lot of things. And I think he's an honest guy with a different worldview. That's fine. And Vosh comes on the show on Timcast IRL. And I asked him something about, how could you vote for Joe Biden after 8 years of the Obama administration and the atrocities and all these horrible things? And he was like, oh, I was a teenager. I have no idea. And there it is. This guy, he's a smart guy. There's a lot of reasons to criticize that guy. Some people criticize him for a lot of things, maybe gross things, whatever. I don't know a lot about him, but I can say this. You're in your mid to late 20s. You're talking all this politics, and you didn't pay attention to the news during the Biden administration. I'm sorry, during the Obama administration with Biden as vice president. So you don't know what we who are older, late 30s know and experienced. I'm in my mid 20s during the Obama stuff, and people are asking me about the battle in Seattle and the World Trade Organization. I don't know. And so I'm listening to them, but I'm experiencing what's going on with Obama. I'm hearing about what's going on in the past. Enter this reality where we get Donald Trump. Joe Biden's running against him. And I say, how could you vote for Biden after everything we've seen? And so here we are. Young people did not care about news back then because they were in high school. Hence, this is where we are. So the interesting thing, to loop it all back to this, the question is, will this be a world where young people are on Instagram, but when they get older, they'll switch to Twitter? The big argument being made right now is that Threads is the Twitter killer, and with 100 million users in just 5 days, it's going to put an end to Twitter. That may be, but it may not be. We don't know for sure. There's a possibility, but I kind of doubt it. The argument being made by many on the left is that Twitter traffic is tanking. We have this from Matthew Prince, The Guardian, all too glee to mention that people are jumping ship to Blue Sky and Mastodon. I do not believe this shows what they're claiming it shows. Let me show you the tweet. Matthew Prince says Twitter traffic tanking. Take a look at this graph from Cloudflare. We can see that in January, they were ranked 32, bobbing up and down. The reason the graph is so spiky is because you're near the top, so you're moving only 1 or 2 spaces. As of July, 6 months or so, 7 months later, Twitter is now at rank 37, I believe. On this chart, it says 39, but I believe it's currently 37. I could be wrong. Actually, I think I can just pull it up. Where are we at? Is it 37? Maybe it's better than that. Maybe it's 30, 32. Where is it at? 37. I was right. Okay, 37. So it's improved a little bit over when that guy posted it. And he's saying, oh, look, Twitter traffic is tanking. Yeah, I don't think that shows what you think it shows. It may be fair to say that many people are leaving the Blue Sky, Mastodon, or whatever since Elon Musk's takeover. Fair point. That does not mean Twitter will cease to exist. All the people who are desperate to leave, of course, are desperate to leave. And a bunch of these people are going to be desperate to go to anywhere else because they hate Elon Musk. Tribalism. What happens? Twitter will become right. Threads will become left. What we've already seen with Zuckerberg's Threads is that there have been conservative personalities who are already censored. Why? Because it's literally just Instagram. People are wondering why it is that personalities like DC Drano, a conservative commentator, when you try to follow him, it says, are you sure you want to follow him? He posts fake news. Facebook is awful. So you know what's going to happen? Elon Musk is creating an open space. Zuckerberg is creating a closed space. Zuckerberg will have the nice, upscale, waspy neighborhood, and Elon Musk will have the bad boys downtown hanging out at the skate park. Figuratively. That is to say that if you want to go on Threads and you want to say something like, I had a wonderful time at the Wonder Bread factory. The bread is delicious, and the white bread I make my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with. It's very wholesome, very nice. And to be serious, Wonder Bread's still around. Like, it would be cool. I do like watching these kinds of things on Instagram. I like watching like how it's made. It's like how marbles are made, and then things like that. But if I want to have a conversation about, say, like Obama executing in an extrajudicial assassination a 16-year-old American citizen, Threads ain't it. I sometimes post memes and screenshots of articles on Instagram. It's whatever. I think it's more of a visual platform. So the people who, I would say if you're following me on Instagram, you're probably getting a bunch of random nonsense because I'm not using Instagram for anything effective. Perhaps that should change. Maybe what we should do is just start posting videos to Threads, but I do believe it is likely that we'll just get banned. Take TikTok. Take a look at the domain rankings we have here pulled up, and I'll go to page number 1, TikTok CDN number 9. It is massive. Okay. Google APIs, Facebook number 3, Apple 4, Gstatic, GoogleVideo.com. Seriously, Google Video still. Microsoft, Amazon AWS, TikTok CDN, rootservers.net. Very interesting. Top 200 domains. TikTok's massive. But the problem with TikTok? We're banned. Timcast IRL got banned for no reason. None. And a lot of people, and we have millions upon millions. I've had people come and be like, you're losing a lot of money by not posting on TikTok, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they banned us. And so they're like, well, make a new one. And I'm like, sure, fine. Okay, I guess whatever. We got to up our social media game, sure. And we need to hire some people The video, we need clips from here to be posted there. We're doing really well on YouTube Shorts, by the way. We've got one clip at like 10 million views or something like that. So that's going really well. And YouTube's really pushing Shorts. YouTube's doing really well, whatever. Ultimately, the point is, if you can't have a cultural and political conversation on TikTok or on Threads, they're never going to be the dominant news platform. That's it. End of story. What's going to happen is that there will be people who use it, but they're not going to have any meaningful debate or conversation. That may work very well for the left. And there are some good things to this, which I'll explain in a second. But ultimately, the arena of politics is a dirty one. So if Elon Musk is offering up an opportunity to actually have that debate, people are going to want to have it. If Mark Zuckerberg is denying that, well, then you're going to get cable TV. And with Twitter, you're going to get authentic, interpersonal conflict. Mark Zuckerberg is trying to create the networked cable TV version of Twitter with Threads. It's going to be controlled, narrative controlled, etc. They already control the narrative on Instagram in a stupid way. You'll see things where it's like, you'll make a joke and they'll be like, fake news. It's like, I was being sarcastic. They're like, what is this? You'll post something where it'll like, you could post something. I see this all the time from James Lindsay. James Lindsay will post an article and they'll fact check it as false using a fact check for a different story. And I'm just like, wow, because and then it'll block what you see and it won't be shared or shown. That's what they want to do. The censored version of the internet. They tried to censor Twitter. They couldn't do it. They go to Zuck and they say, how about this? How about you launch this app? We'll push it. The media outlets that are favorable to us will push it. And then we will sink Elon. Good luck. This is the battle over collective control versus meritocracy. And we will see. The difference being it's not, or I should say, the one thing to consider is it's not absolute. Okay, you've got Instagram with massive infrastructure behind it. Threads is a component of this, being backed by major institutions and financial resources. Elon Musk under fire and under attack in every direction. I got to tell you, though, I would rather hang out in the place where Elon Musk is saying he wants to measure Mark Zuckerberg's penis than Threads, where it's like a brand being, I've never heard of, being shoved into my feed. And then look, I open up Threads. I'm going to open it up right now. And this is the issue. I'm going to open up Threads right here. What do we got? And I'm going to see what do I get sent? All right. It's loading. It's loading. Come on, load faster. What do I get sent? All right. It looks like they're trying to clean it up a little bit because I'm just getting James Lindsay and PragerU. Morning Brew. I don't know what that is, and I don't care. More Morning Brew. I don't care. Memes are. I don't know what that is. Memes are again. Morning Brew. I don't follow these accounts. Why are you sending me this stuff? Well, look at this one. One's being like, Twitter is really, really bad. It's literally Threads telling you how bad Twitter is. Why are you sending me this? Okay, who is this? I don't know who this person is. And all of these things it's sending me have a little plus sign. I don't follow this. A realty group? It's like, why? No one I know is interacting with this. I don't interact with this. I don't know who these people are. This is why Threads is trash. But that's their point. That's their plan. Narrative control. AOC getting shoved down I don't follow AOC. I never followed AOC. I don't comment on AOC stuff. Why are they sending me her and Ted Cruz? Narrative control. What don't they want? People like me should not exist. Okay. Timcast should not exist. And they have to just grin and bear it. But let me tell you, the idea that some mixed race high school dropout from the south side of Chicago with crooked teeth would have a prominent political commentary show is unheard of. It's supposed to be a suit-wearing dude with a shining pearly white grin, overdone makeup, sitting on TV, telling you exactly what you're supposed to know. And then the internet came, and they lost control. It's partly how Donald Trump got elected the first time. Memes. And so now they want narrative control back. Alex Jones wasn't supposed to build a following. Paul Joseph Watson, Milo Yiannopoulos, these people were not supposed to be allowed to get prominence. In the traditional world of cable and network television, they never would have given these people a time slot. But with the power of the internet and the rapid sharing of information, we did it ourselves. They have been, for the longest time, trying to wrestle that control away from all of us. First through censorship, which caused a massive backlash and resulted in more personalities becoming successful. And now Threads. It's not all darkness. It's not all bad. All right. There are some potentially good things. The first is it may be better in some ways for us. And yes, you don't want to hear it, but it is true. If the feed is only if the feed on Threads is the likes of Ted Cruz, Ben Shapiro, the Young Turks, and AOC, it will be a cleaner, more centralized debate around a higher level of conversation, as opposed to a bunch of random people screaming, insulting people, and posting really awful things. I am not saying that it is an overall net positive. I think it's an overall net negative. Meritocracy is substantially better. But I will be the first to say the chaos and psychotic behaviors that we see from many people freely just attacking the internet, it's a bad thing. But you know what? Freedom is dangerous. And so that means we have to accept it, which is why I say there is a positive. Like, let me put it this way. I want to make sure I'm being clear, and I'm not saying it is the way we should go. I'm saying there are positives. Let's talk about authoritarian dictatorship. Are there positives? Of course. Is it the way you want to go? Absolutely not, because the net negatives are substantially greater. My point is this. You want an absolute police force? You want total dictatorial control? Surprise, surprise. Criminals are punished. The streets are free of crime, but everyone is terrified and the innocent are suffering. Not the way we want to go. Freedom is dangerous. That's why I choose Twitter, knowing full well it's full of crackpots and a-holes and a CEO who wants to measure his rival CEO's penis. Because I'm like, look, man, give me the weird, the wild, and let me sort it out. Let me figure it out. Let the strongest survive. Let there be true merit in how we determine who is prominent in this debate stage. Threads, they want to go the curated route. So here's what I think we'll end up seeing. Threads is going to be the mainstream Taylor Swift of social media. Congratulations. And Twitter is going to be the bad boy in the backstreet. And Twitter is going to be more so I don't want to say black market, but more so the real world, the frontier. And Threads is going to be New York City. That's it. So you want to go out in the middle of nowhere and have Burning Man? That's going to be Twitter. You want to go and have your nice little Silicon Valley meeting with button-up shirts and talking about the latest TPS reports? That's going to be Threads. There's no reason to abandon either platform. I don't see a big reason to use Threads because I don't think it's going to be the cultural hub that, well, actually, in terms of culture, it may actually do fairly well. But politics, not so convinced because Meta is going to start deleting a bunch of stuff that gets into political arguments, hands down. We are already seeing censorship. Elon Musk is saying, you want to debate? You're good. Threads saying, no debate, no debate. So what happens? Perhaps the left leaves Twitter and goes to Threads, and then they create their little narrative bubble. We know with Bud Light, the success of Sound of Freedom, that's not working. So ultimately what will happen is you will have people on the right and disaffected liberals using Twitter and debating, and people on the left with their thumbs up their bums on Threads having no communication with anybody. Just sitting there, but that's what they do as it is. Maybe that's really what they want. So in the end, it could potentially just be a massive, massive net negative. One thing's for sure, I do not see Threads taking over in terms of like Twitter becoming irrelevant or anything like that. But I do see Threads succeeding in that they already have 100 million users. The question is, can they maintain this? Because it's really about whether or not there is a path to monetization. That's it. That's seriously it. If I, as a new creator, look to these platforms and think I can succeed, I will use that platform. Rumble has cracked that barrier. I now tell people this, like if you're going to start a channel, Rumble's probably the place to do it. I mean, you'd be stupid not to do both. Put your videos on YouTube and Rumble, but Rumble, you're probably going to see better growth in the short term. The overall market cap for Rumble is smaller than YouTube, obviously, but Rumble is where you're likely going to grow faster without being curtailed by ridiculous censorship. YouTube, it's become a nightmare. It's a challenge. We'll see. Maybe Threads, because of its connection to Instagram, will offer people a faster path towards growth. And that's what Twitter needs to figure out. If a young person signs up, do they make followers? If the answer is yes, you win. So I'll tell you this, Elon. There's really a simple way to win this fight. You want to know what the simple reason is? You need to find young Twitter users, people who are 18 or whatever, and suggest people follow them. That's right. Let me lay it down very simply. 18-year-old signs up for Twitter and says, I'll follow some people on here. Makes a few posts. Those posts should be amplified. Suggested, recommended, whatever. Then that kid who's a freshman in college or a senior in high school all of a sudden overnight has 2,000 followers. That's huge for the average person. They're then going to go to their high school friends and be like, no, follow me on Twitter, man. I got way more followers there. I have like 100 followers on Threads. I don't even care. Like, nobody follows me there. And then their friends are like, okay, I'll use Twitter. That's how you do it. Elon, I hope you're listening. Promote young people, give them the opportunity to be heard, and they will choose your platform over someone else's. They will then encourage their friends to use it, and you will shut down the rivals. If you don't, Threads will. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.